You guys having fun yet? Oh, that was really lame. Are you guys having fun yet? Thank you so much. Awesome. So again, my name is Lisa Rabel. I'm your host for today. This event is being sponsored by the American Marketing Association of Milwaukee. You will be hearing from them in just a little bit. One thing I did not do when I was supposed to do in the beginning is give you my little elevator pitch. All Rebel Girl Marketing was built because I'm not a very good employee. Can anybody here relate to that? Right? So what happened was I was working as a marketing director, and I realized I needed to do something different, but I love marketing. I live and breathe. My kids are sick of me always talking about marketing. But at the same time, I knew I could do a good job. I could take the corporate America stuff that I learned and help small businesses just like yourselves. So with 12 years of corporate sales under my belt, and I'm not going to talk about as much more experience I have. I don't want to date myself. But at the same time, I know, just like you guys, you're out there to help other people, and you're doing it with passion and love and inspiration. So again, my name is Lisa, Rebel Girl Marketing, but you're not here to listen to me today. So I would like to introduce our next speaker, is Jennifer Hensley. She is the owner of Playbook Coaching and Consulting and has spent 2 decades at a Fortune 500 company consulting with small business owners. She has helped over 1,500 small businesses, business owners achieve compound growth. Jennifer has always played sports, and it's been her job to see the whole field, making unique plays that get the ball to the right player at the right time, allow everyone else to stay in their position, and the team to score more. Jennifer has taken her big picture understanding of the business playing field and uniquely links concepts to address complex problems. She helps business owners act quickly on opportunities with strategic and creative thinking that delivers results. With the presentation, Marketing Playbook for Success, What Every Business Should Have, everybody welcome Jennifer Hensley.
Thank you. This is different for me. I'm used to walking and talking, so I'm going to try not to veer too far from the mic and make this work and everything. But so glad to be here with you. Give it up for Lisa hosting this amazing room this morning. And if you already got some good tips from Kenny this morning, let's give him another round of applause too. Thank you. So as Lisa talked about, I was consulting in the corporate space for over 2 decades, and I tended to hear over and over again some of the same things. And raise your hand if any of these resonate with you as we talk about them. I don't have the time, money, or the resources to be consistent with my marketing. Annual plans are too complex, and in the world we're in today, not responsive to my needs. I need a plan that works with my business and all fits together in the way that it works for me. I have maybe a person, but I don't have a plan. Well, after I kept hearing these same things over and over, I knew there had to be a better way. And especially with one of my clients, John told me that he had invested in his website and 5 years later felt like it was a wasted effort because he hadn't touched it in the 5 years since he had made that investment in it. And I knew that that could not happen anymore. There was a better way to do things. So that's when I decided to leave the corporate space and start to work with clients in the way that I knew that they needed. So now instead of feeling scattered or ineffective with their marketing, they have a system that's going to grow with them. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Instead of being overwhelmed with trying to plan, they have something that works in 90-day sprints so that you can really build, just like Kenny was talking about, make it messy, that's fine. But you got to start, build some consistency, and that's where you're going to start to see some success. And instead of having someone pushing the latest digital fad or what everybody else is doing, they have a plan that really works for them and what their business goals are. So this story I know is not unique. Some of you guys were even raising your hand that you've experienced some of this in your own businesses. But I believe for success, you have to start with a strategy. It has to be rooted in value in an authentic way that really represents you and your business. And you have to show up consistently. We were already talking a lot about that this morning. So in the next 15 minutes, we're going to make this a working session, make sure that you actually walk away with something done today. You're going to learn the marketing. Let me see if I can do this here. Winning system framework, the MVP plays that every small business owner should have. And at all your tables, you should have handouts for the lead generation plan. That's what we're actually going to get into and have you walk away with some specific things you can use going into next year. And how to implement a marketing strategy that's going to grow with you and evolve as your businesses change in the way that you need. So the first thing we want to dive into is the marketing winning system. So the reason we're going to talk about this today is because to be an expert at anything, you have to master the fundamentals. You probably have all heard this. I even heard this in one of the Idea Collective's presentations not too long ago about, hey, if you've lost more than 3 games, what do you hear coach saying? What are the Packers probably saying right now? We got to get back to the fundamentals. We need help. We have to get back to just catching the ball, running the ball, because to be good at anything, you have to start with those fundamentals. So what's the purpose of a playbook? Somebody let me know, raise your hand. Why do you have a playbook? Who? To guide you? You know what to do. Lisa? Your team knows what to do. Great. Saves time. Great. Yeah. You know why you're doing what you're doing. You can improve performance definitely by having something you can go back to and you know what to say yes to or what to say no to. I was working with Joe on this recently. It helped him determine whether he was going to invest in a sponsorship or not for a golf outing. Was he doing it just for fun because he likes to golf? Was he doing it as a charitable give back because one of his best clients was putting it on? Or was he actually doing it because he thought it could generate business for him? So we have to start with why are we doing it? How does it fit into the plan? And it certainly allows, as you're talking about, ability to plug in your team in a way that you can create real scale in your business. So unfortunately, when we've talked to business owners the last several years, we've heard that only less than 3% of business owners say that they have a playbook for their business that really creates those repeatable systems. So think about how much is that costing you in your business? Well, no more. So a playbook really allows you to access and execute those right plays at the right time. And you know what you should continue to run and what you should stop. That consistency is what's really going to drive those repeatable results and those less of those peaks and valleys, which I think we'd all like in your business. Who would like to have less peaks and valleys? Yeah, we want to just be like, hey, can we just keep going up and up and up? But that's not the way it usually works. So we got to put in some systems to help us with that. So whether you have a team of 20, maybe you have one VA or it's just you, this is the system that's going to really make marketing manageable for you and effective at getting you those results. So here's where to get started. Start with, first off, creating a marketing fund. We're going to hear about profit first some more tomorrow, I think. So just as we talk about that concept, start to make sure, if you don't already, that you have money set aside for your marketing. Then you can have some funds that you can actually capitalize on different opportunities that present itself to you. So we recommend generally about 5% of your budget is overall budget is going to marketing, and about half of that should be going more towards your strategic planning part of your marketing. So not just spending money on those Facebook ads or those sponsorships, but actually having a plan and approach to your marketing. So everyone else is telling you, hey, it's all about digital. This is what you should do. But I'm saying it's really about making sure that you match what are your best skills, what is the best position that you can play on your team, and how do we match that with how we're going to reach your ideal client and solve their needs. So you have some cards at your tables. We didn't have enough for everybody, so if you don't have a card for A, B, C, and D, you can just put up a 1 for A, a 2 for B, a 3 for C, or a 4 for D. So I think we can all follow along with that, but if you have a set of cards, feel free to use those as well. And we want to get a feel for you. So thinking about this is a framework that we use to create that system of making sure that you have a strategy, you have a scorecard, a statement of investment. What are we putting our dollars into for our marketing? We have workflows in place with our system. We have a calendar. And then we're continuing to review this on a regular basis to know, hey, how does this work for us and how can we make sure that we're continuing to touch our marketing on a regular basis? So when you think about these pieces, raise your card or 1 if you feel like, hey, I don't really have any of these in my place in my business. B would be, I have maybe a few components of the winning system. C, several, or D, all of these. And as you're raising your cards or your numbers, I encourage you to look around in the room too. And look for those people that have Ds. If anybody has 4 or a D up, show it around, because those are people you probably want to connect with this week and learn more what they're doing. Or even if they have a C, and I do see a C over here, a couple of them, like, hey, those are people that have built some systems in their business that we could probably all learn from. So if I had more time, we'd go through all of these and how to start building these. But where we want to start right now is with some simple things that you can do today. So here's what to do if you get overwhelmed with your marketing. Star one thing that you want to do right now, and then put the rest of them on a quarterly plan. That's how we talked about doing sprints. So you can come back to it, or sometimes you think about this as your parking lot or whatever, that you have all these grand ideas as a business owner, but we can't do it all today. So start with what you can do and what you can do consistently, and then star those rest of those things, and we can come back to them and see if it's the right time next quarter. You don't have to go from A to Z overnight. So there's a window of time for you to take action, though. So what I encourage you to do is, before the end of the year, decide how much you are going to put into your marketing fund and make that commitment. So you can start January off already knowing that you have dollars that you're going to put into investing in the growth of your business. So my second topic is MVP. So who can tell me what MVP stands for? Is it A, or 1, most valuable player, B, minimum viable product, C, money very promptly, or D, all of the above? Let's see what you come up with. Raise the cards. I see some 4s back there. Lots of 4s, some Cs, 1s. Okay. Lots of 4. So it is actually all of the above, and probably many more. I'm sure this group could come up with some creative acronyms for MVP as well. But it is all these things. And the reason we're going to talk about MVP today is because marketing options can seem endless, ever-changing, and overwhelming for certain. But if you jump right into the pro plays, then you're bound to fail. So we have to start with those fundamentals that we were talking about before. And what I've found is that while there are hundreds of different plays that you can take, and this might be something you want to grab a picture of, there are ones that are consistent across the board for every service-based business owner. These are the fundamentals, when executed consistently, that deliver those repeatable results. Now, some of you might wonder where ads or sponsorships are, creating online courses. While these are great plays, having the fundamental in place first are going to make all of those so much more effective for you. So you probably have some of these further along. Maybe some of them are going to be more important or more critical for your particular business than others. That's fine. What you can do is you can actually take our score assessment for yourself, so you can continue to see your progress that you're making in each area. And we have the QR code up there that you can scan to take that. And it's also on the flyer at your desk. So if you aren't at least a 6 out of 10 in any particular area, now is the time to take action. So start with what the issue is. First off, if you're not a 6 or better, you don't grade yourself a 6 or better in terms of being specific about who your clients are and increasing consideration that they're going to do business with you through your online engagement. Start there, because your ability to share your message is your number one tool. It's where you can be the most effective and can control that narrative. Just like getting out on TikTok, we were talking about, putting your message out there. Then if you're getting lots of leads, but they're not converting, maybe you need to dive more into your email marketing, or how do we nurture with your content? Or if it's opposite for you, we're like, I just need more people to know about me. Well, maybe that's how we need to talk about, how do we get you more followers? How do we reach a bigger audience through speaking engagements and leverage somebody else's audience? So always start with what the problem is and how can we build on that. So if you have questions about any of these and what these plays look like, hopefully we'll have time for a couple questions at the end. So today what we're going to do, like I said, is create your lead generation plan. As a small business, most of you are probably getting most of your business through referrals, and that totally makes sense. But can other sources generate 20 or 30% of your business? I believe they can. So to be bulletproof, you really want to have 3 or 4 lead generation sources. That's what's really going to give you more control in your business. So at your table, everybody should have a lead generation form. If you don't, if there's an extra one at your table, you might just raise your hand so we can get it to if anybody is missing one. So what we want you to do is to work through this, and you'll have just a few minutes to start to give an idea of looking at the different options that are on there for where you could be bringing in leads through, social, through speaking engagements, through affiliate marketing or influencers. What are the ones that you primarily want to use? And identify those 3 that are most important to you, and what percentage of your business or how many new clients do you want to see from those areas? And then that last column you'll see will ask you about how confident are you right now in your ability to do that. And that's really important, because if you're already really confident that you can hit that, maybe that's something you shouldn't stretch your goal in that space, or you don't need to focus on that so much in your priorities for next year. Versus if it's an area where you're like, I'm not sure I can do this, then maybe that's where it's time to leverage somebody else who has experience in that can help you get there faster. So spend a couple minutes filling that out. What questions are there? Excuse me, great question. Outside business activity. So maybe you have something that's at a ancillary kind of business that you might be running besides your primary business. DPM, great. You guys got great questions there, making me realize this doesn't always translate to every industry. DPM would be a dedicated prospecting meeting. So meeting with somebody strictly for the purposes of asking for those introductions of who else should you be meeting with in their network. So having those intentional prospecting conversations. Other questions on, and if you come up with one that's not on there, feel free to add it to the list too, because there's always things that are changing. You can do that however makes sense for you for the amount. If you want to do that as percentages of your business, number of clients, number of leads, kind of whatever makes sense. And as you do more in-depth planning on your goals, then you can refine those and get more granular on those numbers. But some of us think more in percentages or in numbers, hard numbers sometimes. So. So influencers are actually those referral partners, those people that you're helping them grow their business, they're investing in your business, they're really those relationships, versus the lead magnet is probably more of a tool, like a one-pager that maybe somebody's going to come download on your website or something that's going to open that door to be like, oh, I got this checklist. Now maybe I want to engage with you further from there. Yeah, great. Rhonda. Gross revenue, yeah. So when going back to the budget, 5% of your gross revenue should be your marketing budget, and of that, about 50% of that would be going towards strategy. Yeah. Okay. So having all of this in place is really what's going to lead to that 20 to 30% increase in productivity. When Lauren went through this process with me, one of the things that we realized that gave her a lot more clarity was that she wanted to do speaking engagements, but now we knew how many speaking engagements did we need to have? How many people do we need to have in the audience to get her to those revenue goals? So we could really break it down into something that she could act on in the coming year. So that's all we have to say right now about MVP. Let's talk about our final topic, the post-game session. So if you never study the tape, you can't make corrections, and it's going to take you twice as long to get to where you want to go. So if you found yourself saying, I've never been able to get traction with my marketing, or for some reason I quit doing what worked for me in the past, or I have too many ideas that I just can't seem to execute, this is the process that's going to help you. So we start, like we talked about, talking about your strategy, making sure we have a scorecard of how are we measuring success, our investment, our budget, our workflows, our calendar, and that post-game session that every 90 days we're coming back and reviewing the tape. So it's fourth down. Who goes for it? Raise your hand. Are you going for it on fourth down? Some of you, some of you not. But how do you make that decision? You need to have details, right? Because a vision without a plan is just a pipe dream. A vision with a plan but no process leads to lots of frustration and inconsistency. A vision, a plan, and a process, but you're not keeping score, you don't know really what to adjust or what's working or what's not. So make time for Sam. Sam is sales and marketing. We got to be doing both. Date Sam, marry Sam. Make sure Sam you have a really good relationship with. So when everyone else is saying, hey, this is what you should do, just go do it, make sure that you go back to the tape and understand the truth of your own situation. You have to know your numbers in your own situation. So with that, that's what we said leads to that 20 to 30% increase in productivity. So one of the most common questions that I get, and then we might have time for one or two questions here, is how do I find time for all of this? So start with just 15 minutes a day. We're probably all guilty of watching those TikToks or being on social for that much. We can spend that much time on sales and marketing during our day. There are some actual suggestions in a weekly marketing management agenda and workflows in the Playbook. So if you want to, on your forms that you have, the little postcard size forms, you can indicate you'd like a copy of that playbook, and we'll be sure to send that out to you so you have all of those templates. So whether you want the playbook templates, you want to collaborate and talk about how this might be helpful to some of your clients, or you want to just complete that score assessment, filling out that form at your sheet will make sure that we get you the resources and the tools that would be most helpful to you. So I think we might have time for a question. A couple questions? Yes. You don't have any on your table? Okay, we've got some extra. We'll float those around. May have missed one of the ends of the table. So there's boxes on the bottom there that you can indicate whether you want to, in the QR code, if you want to get the score assessment to see how you're doing with your own marketing in each realm. You want to talk about how this might be helpful to your clients and how we can collaborate together, or how this might help you individually. Other questions? Yes?
When you said 5% of the budget to marketing and 50% of that is strategy,
Yes.
what do you mean by strategy?
So strategy might be you're actually either working with a consultant or you have somebody on your team that's doing your social media and you have to pay them. It's that manpower kind of time to help develop the plan and maybe doing actually some of the execution of that support.
And then the other 50% like would be paying for ads or
Yeah, like ads, sponsorships, you need a graphic designer, like those specific kind of more deliverables pieces. Great question. Okay, we have time for maybe one more question. Okay, and if you didn't get your question answered or you have more specific questions that you want to go through, just fill out that form at your table and you can just leave it there, and I'll be sure to grab it at the end of this session and we can follow up. I'll also be at the coaches row on Saturday, and I think I still have a few openings. So in the binders with the notebook, I think it's like page 6 or 7 in the notebook. They made it super handy that the QR code's there. So if you haven't booked up all your coaching sessions, I know I still have a few openings. You can scan that and schedule some additional time for us on Saturday morning. So I'll leave you with one final thought today. Picture a day when you have a documented strategy that is part of your business plan. Picture a day when others are saying, "How are you getting so many clients?" Picture a day when you're getting introductions and you're not chasing leads. You're going to feel so good. Thank you all so much. We gotta make it loud in here again. We should keep going strong.
All right, one more time for Jennifer. Get your playbook in order. Maybe you can help the Packers. All right, so we have 7 minutes in between the next speaker and the. You can go to operations and finance if you like, or you can stay here. It's completely up to you. If you're gonna stay, we're gonna dance.